Ready to go?
Yep.
Ready?
Yep.
Welcome to another episode of the True Beast Podcast, brought to you by xdog.com, where you can find the world's greatest fitness and health enhancement harness for dogs, the X-Dog Fitness Vest. Exercising your dog has never been easier than with the X-Dog Fitness Vest. And today is a special day as we're going into the Abkc Nationals. Of course, I got my boy Trevor over here. What's up, homie?
What's the deal, man?
And we have a special guest, a guy who resides from the state of California.
Cali.
Right?
He's from the Bay, man, to be clear. I was like, yo, come, I'm about to be out there. He says, man, I'm in the Bay. That's 6 hours away, man.
Mr. David Martinez, how you doing, brother?
Not too bad, man. Thank you guys for inviting me up here and having me on. This is awesome. It's special.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, I agree, man. I agree.
So, all right, let's just cut to the chase. Who do you think's going to win the fucking national championship?
I've been biased if I said I don't want Blue to win it.
Yeah.
But there's amazing dogs here. There's going to be a lot of competition, and it's 2 years in the making. So there's going to be a lot of dogs that want the title, want to step in that ring and try and take it. So it's any dog's day.
So I know you said Blue's been on the road since 2019. Unfortunately, I think Nationals was canceled that year.
Yes, sir.
What's this Nationals mean to you? Because I know the one conversation we had, a couple conversations, but one of the time you stated, it's time to let him be a dog.
Well, so 19 they actually had it. It was a short season for us. He started in September. Went to Oklahoma, came home 2 best of shows. Went to Allentown, did a show in California, got him up to, I think he tied the 6th in the rankings, and then we had nationals. He didn't even get looked at in the first grand champion class, so he was disqualified right away or dismissed. But this one's huge, man. Like I said, 2 years in the making. He's been on the road for 2 years. We were looking forward to 2020, so that way he can just stay home and be a dog. Do the breedings that we've got locked in and whatnot. But I mean, COVID threw everyone for a curve, so here we are now,
Yeah. Well, this is a very special journey when you really think about it. Let's take it back, because I want to give our audience a clear vision on what got you into the dog game and how did you end up getting Blue?
Man, so it started as a kid. My brothers had pit bulls growing up, and it was always, some of their friends had a litter backyard breeder, so we would get a pup. That's kind of how I started liking the dogs. My chores were clean up the poo, feed them, clean out the kennels. That was kind of my gig as a little kid. So that kind of got me into the working relationship with the dog itself. Moved away from my hometown, got married, had kids, moved to the Bay Area. Didn't have any friends out there, just my wife's family. I was always in touch with the dogs. Dogs came back, and they had dog shows out there. I attended the dog shows without a dog just to see what the whole Abkc was about, and fell in love with it, man. Met a local breeder from the area and loved his stud. Needed something off of him. That dog didn't turn out. Went and got that dog's sister.
So take a step back on them. I'm asking you just on the breeding side of things. A lot of times people don't understand what it means to take an L and be okay with that L, because you don't always get a winner, right?
No, definitely not. That was before I was studying any of the pedigrees, before I was looking beyond just the dog in front of you. Something that you obviously learn, you put this money into the dog to buy it, feed it, house it, take care of it. The dog didn't turn out. I wasn't upset, because that was ultimately my call to pick that dog, but I wish it would have been a quicker start. But you got to start somewhere, and that's where I started. I knew the stud that I had got the dog from is what I wanted to start with, so I said, let me go get a female. He bred that male to a Dax granddaughter, or that Dax daughter, and it was a wrap.
And that's how you got Blue?
I got Sage, Blue's mom, from that breeding from champion Nino, JC209 Bullz in Modesto. Shout out Giovanni. Sage came out of that. I took her to a show at 6 months just to kind of get her in tune and get her used to the noise and sights and sounds. We saw Chaos there, Grand Champion Chaos there, and I got Mike's number. And from there it was kind of, what do you see that Chaos can fix in your female? And I saw a lot, I saw that he could help out quite a bit. And we ran it. We ran with it on our next heat at a year and a half old, and produced Blue.
Damn.
And the other part of the story is Blue almost killed her, right?
So that I was telling Trev before, man. It's a whole backstory on that too. It's
Tell him that's a good one, man. It's got to be documented.
we went out to Los Angeles for my friend had a funeral. One of his twin boys had a heart failure. Went out to her funeral. On our way back home, we stopped in Bakersfield to pick up a semen. My daughter was hungry. It's like 9 o'clock. She wanted Chinese food. Pulled up to this little hole in the wall spot. Come out, the back windows busted out, and they had taken a bag next to the box. They didn't touch the box. The box was cool. Hair dryers, some cologne, and a wash on this shit. Got back to town. The vet said, I don't know if it's chilled enough. It might not work. Let's throw it under the scope. I'm like,
damn.
Tripping. Because I invested whatever I had into this breeding.
Yeah. You risked.
I'm not a baller. I don't have money like that.
Yeah.
I gave dude money that I had, and I said, let's hope this works.
Yeah.
So we got to the vet. They tested it, said it was good. Did the TCI. Even at that point, I was always hearing AIs, or not AIs, but surgicals are better. You get a better chance, blah, blah, blah. I went ahead and did the TCI, confirmed her. When she went into labor, I took her. It was about an hour away from where I had to go. The dude opened her up and said, he's in the canal. He would have killed everything.
That's fucking crazy.
First off,
He would have killed Blue. Would have killed everything.
Yeah.
Because he was so big.
Yeah.
It's a blessing on a blessing on a blessing, man. This dog.
Journeys like that are amazing to me because, like, that's part of the struggle. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have a story. Most great things that ever happen, whether it's with people or just in general around the world or businesses in general, they always have a fucking great story behind them. And it's always deals with some adversity, right? Like,
of course, what would it be without that story? So then you get Blue, and you basically, he turns out the way you think he's supposed to turn out.
I wasn't supposed to. I did the breeding to see what my female can do.
So she surprised you then.
I was not supposed to keep anything, but as soon as he pulled Blue out, without having to look at any of the litter mates, as soon as he pulled them out, there was just something about that dog, his head, his neck, the bone mass on. He's seconds old, I just seen this dude.
Hey, when you know though, right?
And I knew, and I said at that point, my wife's gonna watch us later, but I knew at that point that dog was staying at the house.
So then that to another point, then I tell people one of the most important things is your first 3 breedings matter, and you shouldn't necessarily be focused on what to keep out of that because you need to know if your dog's a carrier or a producer, right?
Exactly.
So you made the decision, or objectively, like this is not gonna be that thing, but God's plan. You're like, oh, this is that thing.
Yeah. Honestly, it's something that started as a kid. Like I said, growing up with the dogs, my brother's dogs. My sister was in college. I would be online, just searching pedigrees, searching dogs and stuff. And she would try to call from college, and she couldn't get through because I was unplugging the phone line, unplugging the internet.
Oh, y'all don't remember them days, do you?
It was that time, She would get mad. You ain't never gonna do nothing with these dogs. Or why you looking at them like this? You don't even have money like that. I'm the baby of the family. She's the oldest one, so she was always like little broing me. So. Yeah. But
didn't see me like best friend.
Shout out to my sister. Yeah, I love you. You see us. You see your nephew, what he's doing. So Blue's been a blessing, man. It's been a fun ride, and we've met amazing people throughout all this, and it's opened a lot of doors.
When you first took him to the show, when did you? What show was it, or when did you actually know he was really special in the showroom?
So I showed him his first 2 events. I showed him his first event in Dinuba, got him 90 points in a major. Figured, okay, we got another show in California a couple months from now. I can champ him out.
Yeah.
Took him to that show, and I ate thirds all day too.
Yeah.
A dog that Kira was handling. Ate thirds all day. John called me about a week later and said, hey, my wife really likes your dog.
Yeah.
Can she take him out for a test drive? I said, all right, whatever. She was throwing out all kinds of names, big dog names or whatever.
Sure.
They were going out of state, so I wasn't going to be able to go with them. Not until his 3rd show with her did I get to see them in California. And it was then when I was standing outside the ring, seeing my dog being handled by someone else, and just it was poetry in motion.
Yeah.
It's a dog to other people, but seeing him move, seeing him presented to the standard and to his best ability, it was beautiful, man. It was quite the feeling just seeing him.
Yeah.
Knowing that started in the backyard right there. That started at my house,
Yeah, that's fucking huge, man. And I think people don't understand that. I think people in the Abkc know it's not just a dog. It's a fucking problem. is what it is. You put him in the right place so that he can, basically develop. And that goes back to even on the dog handling side. When people, the term I say desensitization, right? Taking the girl out to the first show, getting the dog familiar with the noise, the sound, people feeling on your dog, all that shit.
Yeah.
Man. So what's the next move for Blue? I mean, outside of this national.
So nationals, I mean, like I said, again, I'm going to be biased. I really, we pushed it. We wanted to push him for the second year. We could have sat home this year and not done anything, but he's too nice of a dog. He had too nice of a run to just let him do that. He deserves that title, I feel like. So I want to give him the best opportunity possible to get there. Next year, though, I'm planning on maybe just doing more international with him, getting him overseas and letting other people see him. The U.S. has enjoyed him quite a bit. I put him on the road as much as I possibly can out here. Just trying to get him international, honestly, and get the folks out there to see him and put hands on him. Because like you guys said, it's not, video and pictures is one thing, but when you see the dog in front of you, you put hands on him, it gives you a true reference to size.
Man. I tell you, I remember the first time I saw him, I was at the Fort Worth show. And I texted Aaron immediately. I said, yo, I see what you mean. I literally was like, he's like, oh, you get it? I was like, I fucking see what you mean. The pictures don't do that boy justice.
Nothing.
I mean,
no justice.
But and I know that about dogs. It's fucking annoying to be clear because the picture will shrink your dog.
Yeah.
It'll shrink him in the sense that you see me like, this is a fucking hog, man.
It really is, man. It really is.
This is a fucking hog, man. So I really enjoyed seeing him the first time, and that's why I was like, I went there to shoot for a tuna, but I was like, I got to get a couple clips of this motherfucker.
Yeah, when Aaron sent me that, I said, bro, who did this? You weren't even here. How did someone get video for tuna and all this? He's like, I got someone that did it for me. I said, all right, let's rock with it, man. And what you put together, that short clip of Blue, I said, man, throw some music to this, make it a little longer. This is it right here.
Yeah. And trust me, I'm gonna fuck this next one up something serious because I was just playing last time. I was just like, I gotta capture this dog.
Yeah.
And that's just proactive. I'm a business junkie and I love doing the work, most importantly. So I was blessed. That's how I look at it. Same thing. He talked about him and he's like, if Blue's there, she's not gonna beat Blue. That's what he was saying. He said, if anytime Blue's there, she's just not gonna do it. I said, I see.
Yeah, but we combined them. I don't know if you saw. We finally got some puppies out of tuna and Blue.
I personally get photos. I can show you my phone right now. I say, Aaron, I get the fucking shit they don't get on IG, but I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I ain't even gotta try. Yeah. Sergio's gonna fucking text. Sergio, you be in here soon. But I said, Aaron, what the fuck is the deal, man? He said, tell Sergio not to take 12 weeks so we can all make a choice on what we want out of this litter. Because I'm like,
they're gonna hold on to him for a bit.
Man,
they're trying to make sure they get the right one.
Man, I'm like, bruh, I said, don't leave me hanging.
I think that's a big mistake that a lot of breeders do. It's like they're so. I think it's such a big advantage if you can just sit on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like being a hobbyist, but pure connoisseur. You know what I mean?
Oh man, it's 100% connoisseur. I mean, like I said, I'm not a baller. I don't got money like that, but I like to enjoy some of the finer things when I can. And Aaron's got himself a nice litter, man, and he's gonna have
Jesus Christ.
How many came out of that?
It's 6. I think 1 died, right?
One passed.
One didn't make it, and they're gorgeous. When I say gorgeous, I get all the pictures every fucking day.
She's got the movement. She's got beautiful movement. I told him, Aaron, she floats like a. I
got the video. That's
like
why.
A butterfly sleeps like a bee. Her movement is ridiculous.
It is nuts, man. It's exciting to watch for. And I saw her, again, put my hands on her, and I was like, God damn.
Well, I think that's going to be important too. Is like positioning him to look successful as well by putting him the right bitches, right?
Bring him to the right ones, and I've got a lot of flack from people just because I do say he's open to approved females because I did run him the first couple times. You have to run a dog to, excuse my language, but you have to run him some ugly bitches.
Hey, look, this is a free space. We got no censors here.
It's just you gotta run him to that to say he is a true producer. He can produce type. He can produce his look. Because if you just go to the straight, the A1 females. You can't say he did this with a pit bull with a staff looking dog. He did it with all of them consistently, and that's what we want.
That's a beautiful thing, man. And that's the name of the game, especially in the breeding space, is patience. And clearly, you're not puppy milling.
No, definitely not. Like I was talking to Stan earlier, I'm not a breeder. I don't consider myself a breeder at all. I've got one female. I've done one litter so far. I'm contemplating doing a repeat. I would love to do a repeat, but it's time, space.
There's a lot of life going on.
Exactly. If I had a ranch, I would have a barn full of dogs and I'd be doing breedings, but I don't have the time and space, and I know financially I want to make sure the family's taken care of, make sure everything else is taken care of at the house. The dogs are a hobby.
Yeah, I think that's a big misconception. A lot of people think they just get in the dog game to try to make money, and that mindset right there, you're gonna fail.
I've lost more money than I've made.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully the turnaround's coming. I mean, it's starting to kind of turn over with how well he's been doing and breeding and stuff. But I've spent more money putting him on the road. All of it.
Max Sharon said that in the live that we was all on. He said, "I tell anybody who thinks they're gonna get into this dog space and make a buck, if you think you're gonna make money, if you think you're gonna make 100,000, be ready to lose 20. And if you don't got 20 to lose, do not jump in here, because anything could go wrong on any given Sunday. It's not uncommon to spend 5,000 on a breeding. Now we're talking doctor visits, progesterone tests. For them to tell you she's got nothing in her.
Exactly.
And Aaron's done that a few times, right?
Oh yeah, we did, the contract stated 3 breedings, and I told him, I said, we need dogs off her. She's just too nice, Blue's too nice, they complement each other too nice, we need dogs off her. We went ahead and did it a 4th time, and man, it hit.
But that's also a relationship. So guys, that's the other thing I think we probably should tap on. You jump in at any moment. One of the things I told Aaron when I first reached out to him was the importance of us all binding together, because we'll be around, unfortunately, longer than the dogs. So there's a community, in my opinion, that's lacked in the bully world. And back in the day, there was D-Line. There was this group of people who worked together to basically keep some type of like checks and balances, right? So even when I reached out to you, like I said, when first we ever did a live, we talk more life, fitness, and everything else. I've never even asked you about Blue, realistically, because that I'm more interested in who you are than I am the fucking dogs, because you already got the dog. We'll get to the dog at some point. Let me get familiar with this person if I can work with him, talk to him. So how important would you say the relationship side of that is, especially like, let's say Aaron was an asshole and charging you up. I know he's had just as much patience as you've had the whole time trying to get this right.
I mean, it's first and foremost, word of mouth is gonna travel, and that's, I'm gonna treat someone the way I want to be treated, regardless of sexual orientation, color, any of that. None of that matters to me. If you're a good person, I'm a good person, we can work. Let's create something. And you're right, the community has kind of fallen off to the side like that, where it's, all right, he's doing good. His dogs ain't got this, or his dogs is that. There's a lot of hate, but it's such a new breed that we need everyone to kind of group together to push it to the next level. The Miami show was a terrible look.
Man,
that was horrible. I was in Disneyland when that happened, and I saw that on the on the lives, and I thought, man, that just set us back, because it's not a good look. But you get the group together. I call it the Wu-Tang Clan. You get them all together, and it's a teamwork. Together, everyone achieves more.
That's a good way. I mean, and again, that's why I thank you 100 times just for jumping on the lives and even showing up today and being communicative. Sometimes you can't get a hold of folks, but I know that you have bigger goals, bigger dreams, and a bigger vision. Especially, I mean, I'm just hearing for the first time about taking them international, which is a huge fucking move.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen from the photos and videos, from when I've seen him in person, it doesn't do him any justice, right? And so people do need to see the dog, and I think he's going to play a pivotal part in producing, or even setting a standard of what an American bully should be. You know what I mean? Like, I've been in the game for a long time. I was back on the message boards back in 2002, 2003. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of crazy back then. And just to be able to sit back and be a fan and watch everything evolve, and to see dogs like, Blue and Zero and Samson and them right now, like, this to me, maybe it's just special to me, but, just watching it over the past, 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, damn. Because, I've seen dogs in person, like Little Row and all them, it's a different fucking breed.
We're at a different point right now in the dogs, where I feel the standard right now, this weekend, the Grand Champion class is going to be
stacked,
and I think that's going to be a representation of what and where we need to aim for the breed, because all those dogs on that stage are dogs that the breeders have put years into to create those dogs, and I'm the oddball. I got lucky. I hit the lotto with this one, but it's a blessing to be in there with these dogs, because these are people that I respect and that I followed and kind of try to ask questions where I can and learn from all of them.
Also, you're studious as well.
Always, man. I didn't graduate college, and that was on my own doing. I could have, but I'm always a student. I'm always a student of the game, man. Anything, whether it be the streets, whether it be home life, dad life, whatever. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to at the end of the day, be better than I was yesterday.
Yeah, and I tell you this, people, David reached out. He said, man, I see you do fitness, man. You put some stuff together for me. So, just in general, I love naturally. But there's this thing with men, and unfortunately, a lot of times men come with pride and ego. Mm-hmm. And when they're a man who can put his ego aside, you know how great that man could be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think ego is a killer.
It really is.
That's the dreams. I mean, relationships are important, right? But at the end of the day, like you still have to. I did a post the other day. You have to bring value to that relationship. Like I'm starting to attract people now into my life that because I bring value. You know what I mean? I offer value. Like we look at here. He does filming. Mm-hmm. You have an amazing dog. Mm-hmm. I do dog products. Mm-hmm. You got a black guy. You got a Hispanic. You got a fucking Asian and white guy right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're bringing value. Now we're offering this value to the community.
The whole community. And David here is an advocate for both X-Dog and just the breed itself. So I think it's important. I think the other thing that I want to make sure you guys get out of this is his dog should be in your pedigree. For those who understand pedigrees, when you look at that whole Dax back in the day, and many others for that matter, Blue's a dog who could build you up, but you got to bring a good bitch. So you got to know what you're doing as well, and when to pull the trigger. And when you add by subtraction in breeding. So when you know what you're missing, this dog can solve a lot of problems, and you can create something for you hopefuls, with kennel blindness.
So and speaking of you say you're not a breeder, but I know that you've been working. You have breedings with Blue. Mm-hmm. Is there any offspring up and comers that people should be aware of right now?
One hasn't even hit the ring yet. He's out of Pennsylvania. Kelvin Finger's boy. Explicit content. Once he comes out, man, it's gonna be.
He's off Blue.
He's off Blue and off of Pit of Misery. Nico Cristino's dog. Beautiful breeding. They only got 2 puppies out of that one, but both dogs were exceptionally beautiful. A lot of type. They had that mature look to them really young.
Yeah.
So they're just marinating right now. And once X comes out, X gonna give it to you.
What color is he?
He's blue. He's a clone.
Oh, he's blue.
He's blue. Blue with better angles. Blue with better movement. He's gonna be trouble.
Now keep in mind. Talk to them about angulation. Because look, I know what you're saying. Unfortunately, I think when the student part of this whole breeding thing is really looking at your product and saying it's got to be better. Mm-hmm. And in this case, like he said, some of these breeders who have been in there, I know you don't know Fred well, but Fred has been doing it for 15, 20 years.
I barely learned about Fred probably in the last year.
Yeah.
But Fred's background, man,
when you go and do the history of Fred, you go, no wonder. This is not just magical. This is like 15 years
Fred's
in the making. And that man has watched the changes of everything, and he cannot wait to meet you, by the way. He's like, that's a guy I want to learn from as well. I mean, that's why I love Fred. I jump on a plane to go and be around people, and I would do the same thing if Dave was like, yo, pull up, let's shoot. I would have gladly done the same thing because it's an opportunity for me to work with people who are working towards the same goal. Let's make the breed, the dogs, everybody fucking better. Exactly. But angulation, when you talk about angulation, what are some things that this dog is going to have that Blue may be?
So Blue, they say there's no such thing as a perfect dog. There's a couple dogs that are close. I mean, I'd say close. Angulation in the breed itself, especially in the bigger dogs, they carry so much more mass.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's hard to get the angulation on them, but it's not easy. It's not easy at all. But the angulation is a huge part, especially for these dogs so heavy set with the heavy rears. You need that angulation to support that mass and that movement that defines them. That's something that sets them apart from your Frenchie, from your Shorty, from your English. That movement is got to be there, and the angulation plays a huge part of that.
Only has what? How many breeds do they have that they'll be showing?
Honestly,
and trust me, I don't either.
Off the top of my head, I think they got Corsos, they got
Bull Terriers, Frenchies, Oldies.
It's like what, maybe 36 dogs, top 36 breeds, maybe.
On the website, they do list a lot of them, but from what I've seen in the rings,
why Corsos?
Maybe like 8 or 9.
That's a massive. I mean, who really knows why Corsos?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly why, but they got quite a bit.
Yeah.
They got quite a bit in there.
Well, if you had to give them advice about breeding, showing, just learning, what would be some advice you pass along to these new and upcoming breeders?
Patience. I mean, you can have the money, you can go to the best breeder. You got to be patient because the dog's not going to turn out exactly as you want it the first time. And if it does, you still got to know what to do with the dog. You got to know how to work what the dog's got. You got to know its strengths and weaknesses. That was something with me that I could have shown the dog and saved myself some money. I don't go out of state like that, but I could have done it myself and grinded him out. Probably it would take me longer, but I know when I'm detrimental to his success. I had to put him in the right hands.
Well, then that falls back to ego. You put your ego to the side.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that was something, I haven't said it to anyone yet, but Kira made sure, she said, hey, I'm not going to take on a dog if the client's an asshole, loud online, like you need to have some respect and
Yeah.
So I put all that aside and I said, go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's see what you guys can do. And she's time and time again proven, and it's, I mean, they make a great team.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't have had that ring presence and showmanship with him like she does.
It would have taken you some years.
It would.
Because I mean, that's the other part too. There's better ways to do things, people. Sometimes it's better just to go to the source.
Mm-hmm.
You can own 100 cameras and never take a shot like the motherfucker who does it every day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's like,
Shit.
that's the thing, if there's a guy who's been doing it 15 years, you might want to learn from him instead of spending 15 years to learn one thing that could change your whole fucking everything.
Well, that goes back to also there's the book student or there's the hands-on student.
Yeah.
You can learn the subject by the book, but it's also you're going to encounter things that aren't in that book that you need to encounter hands-on, and that's something, especially with the bullies, that you need to be hands-on with these dogs because they require your attention, their temperament, their health, all of it leads back to the owner and their surroundings and what they were raised around and how they were treated, and it all comes back to that,
What's funny too is that the people who are very studious in terms of the books, they go back and write books because the one thing they lack is experience. So they have to go learn experience because they don't know how to deal with people. They lack charisma, character, so many things, right? But they could be, like a savant, could tell you everything about one molecular thing. But if you put him in a room full of people, nobody will listen to him for 5 minutes.
Exactly.
You walk Jobs in, like a guy like Steve Jobs, and he's got you at the edge of your seat about a fucking iPhone.
Yep.
And that's the difference with the experience in the building, the hands-on, the watching, move, understanding gait, angulation, breeding, seeing the semen, TCI, all the things that really require you for one to have a fucking dog.
Yeah, to produce a product and then have it presented correctly.
Exactly.
Because presentation is everything.
Exactly.
Everything, man. So anything you want to hit on while he's here.
Yeah. So goals.
They said he's gonna get.
Yeah, goals. Like, what are your goals? Like you produce Blue, right? And so you have this amazing dog. What's the next goal?
Produce him again.
Yeah.
In a female form.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And that's honestly that's my personal ultimate goal. I want to produce Blue on a female frame and see what she can do. See what she can do for the breed and how she takes charge of the ring.
So as far as like colors go too, like what's your thoughts on color chasing and shit like that? Like do you ever think a dog? It seems like a lot of dogs are either blue fawn, right, or like a stronger color gene straight that tend to win versus the dilutions and the recessives and stuff like that.
I just think it's a cleaner, more classic look. When you're going back down the line, it's more classic, timeless look. The tries, the lilacs, they're flashy and they're now. But at the end of the day, the color doesn't. I mean, it shouldn't be the number one factor on your decision making. Health first and foremost. Structure for me second. Color's at the bottom of the list for me.
Do you ever think a colored dog will eventually win?
Yeah, the right one.
Yeah.
But
has there ever been a try that won? Obviously that's a pattern, but
With the thing,
I'm not sure. Honestly,
I don't remember.
The color thing is more of a social media thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's the same thing with the Frenchies. Like, if it's not a color, like the color thing is for people who are trying to make, like, that's their niche market. Like, this market says we need color. But God, like, at the end of the day, I'm sure he gets like mad compliments when Blue gets out the car.
Yeah.
You go, I don't give a shit about the color. I just need that dog.
Yeah.
And that's the point where you look. I always say, breed from the hips up, breed from the ground up. So you start with, like you said, a nice rear, and then we get into tightening up that chest and tight feet, and then we get to that making sure, because you can always double up and get a bigger head.
Exactly.
That's the thing. That's the part that I gotta get a big head. You need to make sure that motherfucker can walk right.
Exactly. Back in the day with the pit bulls and stuff growing up, that was one thing you heard: red nose, blue nose.
Yeah. Tiger stripe.
How big is his head? Tiger stripe. how big is his head? You know,
That's it.
That shit don't matter. If they were true game dogs back in the day, none of that's all gonna devalue them.
Listen, people. Sometimes our topics get a little bit longer. We don't want to cut it just at 30. If we're really rolling, we keep this thing going. Therefore, at the end of our YouTube, you will see, hey, jump on the links listed below. Follow us on Spotify,
Sure.
Apple,
Sure.
Where else? Google.
Wherever else you guys list us at.
Yeah, wherever we're listed at, and continue to follow and listen to the show, whatever we're talking about. Hopefully you enjoy the topics. Stay tuned. Appreciate you guys' support.
Yeah, and as always, man, leave us a comment, subscribe, share. In the comments or in the reviews, also, leave us some topics that you would like us to discuss. We don't hold back. So if you want us to talk about something, be sure to leave it there. So as always,
Team X Dog Strong.